Before we begin, make sure you're alone. Turn off the lights. Let the stories find you. Tonight, we explore 3 disturbing true rideshare horror stories. Each story comes from real people and real terror. I've always been the kind of person who triple checks everything. Lock the door, check. Share my location, done. Rideshare app, confirmed, screenshotted, and sent to my best friend. But that night, none of it helped. It was late, past 1 a.m., and the streets of downtown Austin had thinned out to almost nothing. I had just left my friend's birthday party, the kind of casual rooftop hangout where the drinks are cheap and the music's too loud to think. I was tired, a little buzzed, and just wanted to get home, so I did what I always do. I pulled out my phone and ordered an Uber. 5 minutes later, a silver Toyota Camry pulled up to the curb. The license plate matched. The driver's name matched. He even leaned over and asked, "Alyssa?" But what happened next? I still replay in my head, trying to figure out where I went wrong. I'm Alyssa. I'm 26, live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment on the east side of Austin, and work freelance as a graphic designer. My schedule's weird. I usually work late into the night, which makes me comfortable being out after dark. Or at least, I used to be. The party that night was in the downtown warehouse district. I wasn't drunk, just tired. Too tired to wait for someone to walk me out. So I ordered an Uber like I've done 100 times before. I still remember the air that night. It was unusually warm for January, thick and still. The city felt quieter than usual, like something was holding its breath. I waited near the curb under a flickering streetlight, watching the icon of the car inch closer on the screen. Then I saw the silver Camry turn the corner. Plate matched, model matched. A man rolled down the window. "Alyssa?" I nodded and got in. The second I got in, something felt off. The seats were cold, like the car had just been sitting idle for a while. There was no air freshener smell, no music playing. Just this heavy silence between me and the driver. He didn't say much, just nodded, and started driving. But I noticed something strange almost immediately. He never started the ride in the app. I glanced at my phone. The Uber app still showed, waiting for pickup. I cleared my throat. "Hey, I think the app didn't register that we started the ride." He waved a hand dismissively. "It's glitchy sometimes. Don't worry, I know where we're going." That's when the second thing clicked. He wasn't using GPS. No phone mount, no screen showing directions. Just driving. I tried to stay calm. Maybe he really was a local. Maybe the signal dropped. But something about the way he gripped the steering wheel, the way he kept glancing in the rearview mirror, it made my stomach knot. We passed 2 turns I usually take to get home. I leaned forward. "Hey, this isn't the usual way." He didn't answer. The street started getting emptier. Less street lights, fewer buildings. We were heading east, away from the city. I pretended to check a message and quickly opened up my location, still tracking. I sent a screenshot and live location to my best friend with one line. "Something's wrong. Please call me in 2 minutes. Say you're waiting." Just as I hit send, he spoke again. Calm, almost too casual. "Don't worry. I just know a shortcut. Sit back." My heart was pounding. I kept my face neutral, but I started counting every intersection, every turn. I was no longer heading home, and I was no longer sure I was going to make it there at all. He took another turn, sharper this time, and the pavement beneath us turned rough, uneven. We were off the main road now, onto some kind of service lane or alley. My phone buzzed in my hand. Caller ID, Kara, bestie. I swiped to answer, forcing a smile into my voice. Hey babe, yeah, I'm almost home. You're already waiting outside? I gave the driver a glance through the mirror. She's right outside the building. Just pull up and I'll hop out. He didn't say anything, didn't slow down, just stared ahead. My pulse was hammering now. I switched to texting under my jacket. He's not stopping. Still driving. I'm east on Baker Street. Help, I unlocked the passenger door manually. He hadn't noticed. I subtly slid my hand down and tried the handle. Locked. He must have enabled child lock. That's when I knew. This was not a misunderstanding. This wasn't some glitch or wrong turn. This man was taking me somewhere I wasn't meant to walk away from. I leaned forward, forcing urgency into my voice. Actually, I think I left my phone back at the bar. Can you take me back? Like now? Please, it's expensive. I can't lose it. He glanced at me, his eyes blank but somehow knowing. Calculating. Then he grinned, just a twitch of the lips. No worries. Let's loop back. He turned into a gas station parking lot to turn around. The moment the car slowed under the lights, I made my move. I threw the door open, shoved it with my shoulder, and jumped. I hit the ground hard, palms scraped, knee burning, but I was up before I felt the pain. I ran, full sprint, straight into the station. Lights. People. He didn't follow. When I looked back, the car was already gone. The cops arrived 10 minutes later. I gave them the plate number, the make, the name. They ran it. It wasn't registered with Uber. No ride had ever been assigned to me that night. But somehow, he had everything. My name, my location, my trust. To this day, I don't take ride shares alone at night. And every time I see a silver Camry, I feel my heart skip. Somewhere out there, he's still driving. I've driven for Lyft full-time for almost 5 years now. You see all kinds of people, drunk couples, anxious airport travelers, frat boys who smell like tequila and regrets. But nothing prepares you for the quiet ones. And one night last fall, I picked up a passenger I still can't explain. It was just past 2 a.m., a slow night in Boston. I was parked near Tremont Street sipping cold coffee, waiting for a ping. Pickup location, right outside Mount Hope Cemetery. Weird, but hey, money's money. I drove up, expecting to find some drunk kid pulling a prank. But instead, there she was, standing still under the dim orange streetlight. Pale, wearing a long black dress like she had just come from a funeral. And when she got in, she didn't say a word. My name's Kyle. I'm 31, divorced, and I've been driving Lyft full-time ever since I got laid off from my IT job 2 years ago. I usually take night shifts, less traffic, fewer entitled riders, and more tips from drunk people trying to get home safe. That night it was unusually quiet. Cold breeze, empty streets, and that kind of late-night silence that feels hollow. I had just dropped off a passenger in Dorchester and was idling near Tremont, hoping to hit one more ride before calling it a night. That's when the request came in. Pick up at Mount Hope Cemetery. Not exactly a hotspot for 2 a.m. Lyft calls. I almost skipped it, thinking it might be a prank. But then I thought, hey, it's 5 minutes away, and maybe someone just took a shortcut through the cemetery walking back from a party. Weird stuff happens on the weekend. So I pulled up along the sidewalk, right where the GPS told me. And there she was. No phone in hand, no small talk, just waiting, still, quiet, staring directly at my windshield. She got in without a word. No greeting, no, "Hey, can I sit up front?" Just slid into the back seat and shut the door gently. I glanced at the rearview mirror. She looked young, maybe late 20s. Pale skin, black dress, no makeup. Her hands were folded neatly on her lap like she was at a church service. "Hi there," I said, trying to break the ice. "Kyle." Where are we headed? She didn't answer. I turned to double-check the app, but there was no destination listed. Just passenger on board. That was weird. Riders almost always set a drop-off point. I tapped the screen, but nothing loaded. Signal was fine. Still, she just stared out the window like she couldn't even hear me. I cleared my throat again. Do you need to go somewhere specific, or... She didn't blink. Didn't speak. Just slowly turned her head toward me and made direct eye contact through the mirror. Her eyes were flat, expressionless, not angry, not sad, just empty. I felt a chill creep across my shoulders. I tried to laugh it off. Well, all right then, I muttered. I put the car into drive and slowly pulled away from the curb. As we drove, the streetlights flickered past us in intervals. She never said a word, never moved. 5 minutes in, I glanced at the app again. Still no address. And the oddest part? The map wasn't moving. It was stuck. No route, no movement. But the ride was still marked in progress. I looked up, and for a moment, just a moment, I swore she wasn't in the mirror anymore. But when I turned around to check, she was still sitting there. Perfectly still. Perfectly silent. The longer I drove, the more I felt like I was in some kind of loop. No matter which way I turned, the streets looked the same. Empty. Dimly lit. No pedestrians, no other cars. Just the sound of my own tires and the faint hum of the heater. I checked the app again. Still stuck. Still said passenger on board. Still no destination. And the timestamp? 2:09 a.m. Same as when I picked her up. It hadn't moved. I tried to speak again. Hey, I think there's something wrong with the app. Can you just tell me where you're going? Still nothing. But this time she smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It wasn't even human. It was small, too small. Like someone imitating what a smile should look like. I turned my head slightly to say something. And the back seat was empty. I slammed the brakes. I whipped around, heart racing. No one. Nothing. The door was still shut. No sound. No movement. I froze, breathing hard. Then slowly reached for my phone to cancel the ride. But the app, it said, "Drop-off complete. Thank you for the ride, Kyle." The map showed my location. Mount Hope Cemetery. I was back where I'd started. I looked up through the windshield. She was outside the gate, standing exactly where I had picked her up. Same black dress, same pale face, looking directly at me, not moving, not blinking. I didn't wait. I floored the gas and didn't stop driving until I saw the city skyline again. It's been 6 months since that night. I don't drive after midnight anymore, and I never accept pickups near cemeteries. But sometimes, just before I sleep, I get a notification on my phone. Pickup requested. Mount Hope Cemetery. Passenger, unknown. Status, waiting. I used to think that ride shares were safer than walking home alone. I don't think that anymore. It happened last year, during my final semester at UW in Seattle. I was working late at a student center, rehearsing a presentation until well past midnight. By the time I packed up, the last bus had already stopped running. So, like any normal person, I called a ride. Driver's name was Mark. 5-star rating. White Chevy Malibu. Everything looked fine. He arrived within 3 minutes, smiled, seemed friendly. But once the doors locked, he wouldn't stop asking questions. Where I lived, if I had roommates, if anyone was expecting me. At first, I laughed it off, but something in his tone made me realize he wasn't just making small talk. My name's Jenna. I was 22 when this happened, just a few weeks away from graduating with a marketing degree. I lived in a student apartment near the edge of campus. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Small, safe, and quiet. I had a part-time job at the university student center, helping with late-night events and presentations. That night, we had a guest lecture that ran late. I stayed behind to clean up and organize files. When I finally stepped outside, it was nearly 1:20 a.m., and the entire street was empty. Too late for buses, too tired to walk 25 minutes in the dark. So, I opened my Uber app. The driver's name was Mark, and he was already nearby. White Chevy Malibu, 5-star rating, over 2,000 trips. It felt routine, automatic. I didn't even hesitate. He pulled up in front of the building, headlights flashing once as he stopped. I got in the back seat, closed the door, buckled up. And from the second the lock clicked shut, something about the air felt wrong. At first, it was little things. The way he adjusted the rearview mirror to look directly at me. How his smile lingered just a little too long when I said, "Hi." Then came the questions. "So, you live around here? Your building have a doorman? No boyfriend waiting up for you?" I gave vague answers. Short, polite, tried to act unfazed, but I could feel it. His tone wasn't casual. It was probing. The route didn't feel right either. My apartment was only a 10-minute ride. But instead of taking the direct road, he kept turning down side streets, industrial areas, warehouses, empty lots. "Hey," I said, forcing a chuckle. "I think you missed the turn back there." No, he replied smoothly. "This way's faster, no cops, no red lights." I pulled out my phone, pretending to check messages, but I was texting my roommate. "In Uber, white Chevy, Mark, not normal. Track me." Just as I hit send, I noticed the child lock icon lit up on the door handle. I tried the lock anyway. Didn't budge. I asked, carefully, "Hey, mind if you drop me off at the gas station up ahead? I need to grab something real quick." He didn't answer, just kept driving. His hands were tight on the wheel now, his smile gone. I started feeling the panic rise in my throat. Every instinct screamed, "Get out now." So I did something I hadn't done since I was 12. I faked a panic attack. I gasped, clutched my chest, started hyperventilating. I can't breathe. I need air. I have asthma. Please, stop." He looked startled, slowed down. That was my only chance. He pulled into a dark, empty parking lot behind a closed strip mall. No lights, no people. Just the hum of the engine and the buzz of a faulty neon sign flickering in the distance. I sat frozen, clutching my phone. He turned around slowly, eyes scanning me. "You okay?" he asked, voice low. I need to get out. I think I left something at the student center," I lied. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Don't worry, I'll help you look." Panic surged. I tried the handle again, still locked. "I really need to get out," I insisted, voice shaking. He leaned closer, his face partially illuminated by the dashboard lights. "You're safe here," he whispered. I had to act. I remembered the emergency button on the Uber app. I opened it, fingers trembling, and pressed it. He noticed. "What did you do?" he snapped. I need to go," I stammered. He stared at me, then suddenly unlocked the doors. "Fine, get out." I didn't wait. I threw the door open and ran toward the street, heart pounding. I reached a 24-hour convenience store, burst inside, and told the clerk to call the police. They arrived minutes later. I gave them all the information, his name, car model, license plate. But when they checked, the license plate didn't match any registered Uber vehicle. He wasn't my driver. To this day, I triple-check every ride. I share my location, verify the car, the driver, everything. Because I learned the hard way. Not everyone behind the wheel is who they claim to be.